This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
.45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lal Mallavarachi and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. Queen Elizabeth II has died at the age of 96, Buckingham Palace announces. King Charles III, who became the new monarch immediately, is expected to address the nation today. President Ranil Wickremesinghe requests the heads of state bodies to hoist the national flag half-mast in last respect to the late Queen. The Prime Minister says the country can be steered to prosperity by revitalizing rural economy. USAID Samantha Power will visit Sri Lanka tomorrow for 2 days. The Education Ministry to introduce English medium in all schools from grade 1 next year. News overseas: world leaders remember a kind-hearted queen. In sports, Asia Cup T20 Sri Lanka meets Pakistan tonight. And those are the headlines. Queen Elizabeth II, the UK's longest-serving monarch, has died at Balmoral, aged 96, after reigning for 70 years. Her family gathered at a Scottish estate after concerns grew about her health earlier on Thursday. The Queen came to the throne in 1952 and witnessed enormous social change. With her death, her eldest son, Charles, the former Prince of Wales, will lead the country in mourning as the new king and head of the state for 14 Commonwealth countries. The Queen was born Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor in Mayfair, London on 21st April 1926. Her reign spanned 15 prime ministers, starting with Winston Churchill, born in 1874, and including Liz Truss, born 101 years later in 1975, and appointed by the Queen earlier this week. She held weekly audiences with the Prime Minister throughout her reign. At Buckingham Palace in London, she held weekly audiences with the Prime Minister throughout her reign. At Buckingham Palace in London, crowds awaiting updates on the Queen's condition began crying as they heard of her death. King Charles III, who became the new monarch, immediately said his mother's death was a moment of greatest sadness for him and all members of her family. He is expected to address the nation today. The Prime Minister, Dinesh Gunawardena, says that the country can be steered to prosperity by revitalizing rural economy. It is a big challenge to make all state institutions profitable entities. The Premier points out the need to make the country's land maximum use to enhance the productivity. All government servants and the public should work hard to achieve this target. Ms. Samantha Power, administrator of the United States Agency for International Development, will make an official 2-day visit to Sri Lanka tomorrow. Samantha Power was sworn into office as the 19th administrator of USAID on May 3rd, 2021. Ms. Samantha Power is expected to hold bilateral talks with President, Prime Minister and other high officials during a short stay in Sri Lanka. The United States has also pledged to continue to engage with their other government agencies as well as the World Bank and Asian Development Bank to assist the people of Sri Lanka. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Scan the Lanka QR code and make your payments with People's Pay mobile payment app from People's Bank.
Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijesekara says that those who level allegations against the government with regard to the procurement process of coal should submit evidence first. Some used to throw words without any sense, he added. The minister admitted that there is a small issue with regard to the purchase of order purchase order of coal, but expressed confidence that it will be sorted out within the next couple of days. There could be a delay in coal import, but will be sorted out after 15th October. The minister added that another shipment of petrol will reach the island in the next few days. The state ministers who were sworn in yesterday said that they do not require privileges to support the program carried out by President Ranil Wickremesinghe in his efforts to build the country. They pointed out that establishing economic stability in the country is the priority at the moment, and as state ministers, they hope to provide maximum support to the line ministries by making on the responsibilities of the government. And that's local news.
Nobody looks for hotels like this. So why do you still pay with cash when you have People's Pay mobile app from People's Bank? Scan the Lanka QR code and make your payments with People's Pay mobile payment app from People's Bank.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Education Ministry plans to introduce the English medium in all schools from grade 1 next year. Addressing an event organized at the ministry under the theme English is Simple, Minister Susi Premchand says the decision was taken to help children in rural areas to move with the new technology and with the world without fear. Along with the education reforms, English language competence is essential in the advanced world of technology. The minister also said that a proposal was made to continue mathematics and science subjects to be taught in English while in single medium classes from grade 6 onwards, and this practice will also be applicable to students who study in the Tamil medium. And that was top news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, Sri Lankan citizens and residents have been given a 1-month amnesty from August 15 to deposit or sell foreign currency in possession without questioning. Cabinet spokesperson, Mass Media Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said this while speaking at the press conference to announce the cabinet decisions held at the Government Institution Department recently. Accordingly, persons in or resident in Sri Lanka who hold foreign currency notes in possession can deposit those currency into a personal foreign currency account or into a business currency account or sell to an authorized dealer. And that was Watchlight. Moving on to world news headlines. World leaders remember a kind-hearted queen. US approves $2.6 billion in aid for Ukraine and allies. Europe's warm summer shatters records. And those are the headlines of the world news. World leaders and dignitaries have paid tribute to Queen Elizabeth II, who has died at the age of 96. They have honored her deep sense of a duty and resilience, as well as the Queen's sense of humor and kindness. France Emmanuel Macron led the tributes remembering a kind-hearted queen who is a friend of France. And former US President Barack Obama says the Queen had captivated the world with a reign defined by grace, elegance, and a tireless work ethic. The US has approved nearly $2.7 billion in new aid for Ukraine and allies, including $675 million in weapons for Ukraine as it battles Russia. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin announced the arms package at a meeting with the dozens of fellow ministers at the US Air Base in Ramstein, Germany. And the aid includes munitions, Humvee vehicles, armored ambulances, and anti-tank systems. The summer was the hottest on record in Europe, according to data from EU satellite monitoring. A series of extreme heat waves and a long-running drought saw June, July, and August shatter the previous high mark for temperature. The Copernicus Climate Change Service said the data showed August in Europe was the warmest on record by a substantial margin. And that was world news. And moving on to development news, the Department of Excise will net in 180 billion rupees revenue to the government treasury for 2022, said Commissioner General of Excise J. Gunasiri. He said that despite the COVID-19 pandemic, the department was able to provide 140 billion rupees to the government last year, and they were expecting to pass about 200 billion revenue mark this year. And that was development news.
Sports News is brought to you by...
With many values that bind us beyond the transaction, we are Sampath Bank. We present your future.
In sports cricket, Sri Lanka meet Pakistan in the Asia Cup T20 Super 4 round match at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium tonight. Sri Lanka cricket team led by Dasun Shanaka is keen to continue their winning streak before the final when they meet Pakistan today at 7:30 p.m. local time. Both teams have qualified to play in the final on Sunday, the 11th of September at the same venue in Dubai, while the two teams are expected to get pre-final exposures today. And that was sports news.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest from NSB, now extended till the 30th of September just for you. Your short-term deposits receive an attractive interest rate of 20% in 3 months and 22% in 7 months. Visit a bank branch or a main postal office today. NSB, the only bank with 100% government guarantee.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Colombo Stock Exchange has decided to extend its trading hours with effect from next Thursday, the 15th of September. The decision was taken with the consultation of the Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka and the stockbroking industry. The trading hours will be as follows. A pre-open session from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Open auction at 10 a.m. Regular trading commences at 10 a.m. Market closes at 12:30 p.m. And that was business news.
Business News, sponsored by...
The fastest way to earn the highest interest from NSB, now extended till the 30th of September just for you. Your short-term deposits receive an attractive interest rate of 20% in 3 months and 22% in 7 months. Visit a bank branch or a main postal office today. NSB, the only bank with 100% government guarantee.
In economic news, the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights says that Sri Lanka's new government should embark on a national dialogue to advance human rights and reconciliation. The High Commissioner encourages the international community to support Sri Lanka in its economic recovery, but also in addressing the underlying causes of the crisis. And that was economic news. Finally, in the weather report, the Met Department says showers will occur at times in western, sub-Rakhine and northwestern provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara Galle and Mathura districts. Showers or thundershowers will occur at a few places elsewhere during the evening or night. Showers may occur in the northern province during the morning hours too. And with that we conclude, or before we conclude this news broadcast, let's look at the main points once again. Queen Elizabeth II has died at the age of 96, Buckingham Palace announces. King Charles III, who became the new monarch immediately, is expected to address the nation today. President Ranil Wickremesinghe requests heads of state bodies to hoist the national flag half-mast in last respect to the late Queen. The Prime Minister says the country can be steered to prosperity by revitalizing rural economy. USAID's Samantha Power will visit Sri Lanka tomorrow for 2 days. The Education Ministry to introduce English medium in all schools from grade 1 next year. With that, we conclude this morning news broadcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.